There is a silence that has become your home. You have lived inside of it for so long, you've learned to breathe its thin air, to move through its dim light. You've learned the geography of this waiting, the slow ticking clock, the unanswered prayers that echo back to you, the hollow spaces where an answer should be. You've grown accustomed to the quiet, but right now, in this very moment, I am breaking that silence. This is not an accident. You did not stumble here. You were led. Your weariness, that final sigh you thought no one heard, the weight of another day ending the same way it began, it was a signal fire. And I have come to answer it. Listen, not with your ears, which have grown tired of listening, but with the deepest part of your spirit, the part that still flickers beneath the fatigue. This is for you, the one who has been holding on by a thread so fine you wonder if you've imagined it. I am speaking to you now. You feel the ache of time, don't you? It has a physical weight. It sits on your chest in the morning and presses on your shoulders at night. You measure it in sunrises you faced with fading hope, in calendars you turned with a quiet dread, in milestones that passed you by while you stood still. You call it a delay. You call it a holding pattern. You call it being forgotten. I have watched you give it so many names. But I have a name for it too. I will tell you. But first, you must know this. I saw every single moment. The nights you spent staring at the ceiling, your mind racing in frantic circles, searching for the mistake you must have made, the reason you were here. I saw the mornings you forced a smile, stitching your composure together like a garment you were terrified would tear. I saw you in the grocery store line, in the empty car, in the shower where the water could hide what your eyes could no longer hold back. I saw every tear you cried in silence. Not one fell to the ground. Every single one was caught, held, recorded in a place where nothing precious is ever lost. Your silent suffering was not a sign of my absence. It was the very evidence of a work too sacred, too profound for noise. You have felt so alone. You have walked through crowds and felt a universe away from every laugh, every easy conversation. You have sat in rooms full of people and felt a perfect, piercing isolation, as if you were watching life through a thick pane of glass. You could see it, but you could not touch it, could not taste it. That loneliness has been the hardest part. It has whispered the worst lies, that you are forgotten, that you are defective, that you have been set aside. It made you question everything you once knew about my love. When the well of your own strength ran dry and you felt nothing but the emptiness, you thought it meant I had left you. You are wrong. I never left you, even when you felt alone. I was in the silence with you. I was the stillness around you. I was the unwavering ground beneath your trembling feet. That season of solitude was not a sentence of abandonment. It was a sacred enclosure. While the world moved on, I was building a sanctuary within you, a holy space where the noise of others' opinions could not reach, where your true identity could not be trampled by the footsteps of passing crowds. You were not being ignored. You were being insulated. Do you remember when you used to pray with such fire? When you would bring your requests with a boldness that came from believing the answer was just around the corner? And then the corner kept turning into another long, empty road, and your bold prayers softened into whispers. And then the whispers became simply a look, an ache in your heart you could no longer even form into words. You began to think I was ignoring you. You thought the closed doors were a sign of my refusal, the silence a form of punishment. Your heart has been confused. It has been tangled in a knot of why and how long. Let me begin to untangle it for you now. This was not punishment. This was positioning. Every no was a divine redirect. Every closed door was my hand shielding you from a path that would have ultimately broken you. every loss, every stripping away, was the careful removal of what was temporary to make way for what is eternal. You were being protected, not rejected. You were being prepared, not penalized. The waiting was not idle time. It was incubation time. In the dark, hidden place where no one applauds and no one sees, the most essential transformations occur. The caterpillar, in the absolute darkness of the chrysalis, does not know it is becoming a butterfly. It only knows the dissolution of everything it once was. It feels like an end, but it is the only way to the beginning. I know the doubt that has crept in. It's the voice that says, maybe this is just my life. Maybe the dream was never mine to hold. Maybe I misunderstood. That voice is not from me. It is the voice of exhaustion. It is the voice of a battle that has lasted longer than you ever imagined you could endure. But you have endured. You are still here. And your endurance has not gone unnoticed. It has been a form of worship. Your choice to get up each day, to choose kindness when you receive none, to whisper, I still trust you, into a seeming void. That has thundered in the heavens. It has moved things you cannot see. It has shifted atmospheres. Your faithfulness in the famine is about to be met with my favor in the harvest. Your waiting season is not a life sentence. It is a season, and seasons by their very nature change. The air is shifting now. Can you feel it? It is a subtle change, like the first faint scent of rain on dry earth, long before the clouds appear. It is the feeling in your spirit, a quickening, a gentle stirring of something you thought had gone dormant. Hope. That flicker is me. I am reigniting the flame. The long night is ending. I am here to tell you that your waiting is coming to a divine conclusion. The purpose of the wait has been fulfilled. What I was building in you while you felt you were falling apart is now complete. The foundation has been laid, deep and unshakable. The character has been forged, resilient and pure. The dependency on me has been established, not as a theory, but as the very breath in your lungs. You are ready, and now I am ready to move. The timeline you had in your mind has been my timeline all along. The delay was not a denial. It was a divine alignment. Everything, the pain, the silence, the loneliness, the confusion, was a thread in a tapestry you are only now beginning to see from the back. The messy knots, the loose ends, the seemingly chaotic patterns are about to make breathtaking sense. Turn it over. The masterpiece is ready to be revealed. Your waiting season is ending. There were people. You trusted them. You opened your heart, shared the fragile pieces of your dream, leaned on them for support. And you learned in the cruelest way that not every hand that touches you is meant to hold you. Some were meant to let go. Some were meant to push you, to test your balance. Some you called friend, family, confidant. They were the ones who stood closest to you when the winds began to blow. And when the waiting grew hard and your light began to dim, you watched them turn away. Not with a dramatic slam of a door, but with a slow, quiet fading. A text unanswered, a call unreturned, an invitation lost, a dismissive glance when you tried once more to voice the ache of the delay. They grew weary of your process. Your season of uncertainty became an inconvenience to their comfort. They labeled you too much, too sensitive, always in a storm. They decided your prolonged waiting was evidence of your flaw, not a chapter of your story. I saw them. I saw the one who smiled to your face while their heart judged your struggle. I saw the one who used your vulnerabilities, shared in confidence, as currency in conversations you were not part of. I heard the whispers that painted you as stagnant, confused, or even cursed. They could not comprehend a path that did not mirror their own, a timeline that did not fit their understanding of blessing. So they wrote their own narratives about your life. They decided your closed doors were dead ends. They mistook your divine preparation for personal failure. And they distanced themselves, believing they were leaving behind a sinking ship. They thought you would never rise. They saw the stillness and called it defeat. And then there were the others, the ones who didn't just leave, but who actively stood in opposition. The secret enemies. You may not even know all their names. They were threatened by the light they sensed in you, even in its dim state. They could not name it, but it unsettled them. So they worked in hidden ways. A word of doubt sown here, an opportunity subtly blocked there, a lie told to someone who could influence your path. They moved in shadows, thinking the darkness was their ally. They believed you were alone and vulnerable. They believed their schemes were succeeding because you were silent, because you did not fight back with their weapons. They mistook your restraint for weakness. They mistook your quiet endurance for surrender. They did not know that your silence was a choice. It was the choice I gave you. It was the harder path. You wanted to defend yourself. Oh, how you wanted to. There were moments when the hot words boiled up in your throat, when the evidence to prove them wrong was right there, when you could have exposed their hypocrisy and made them share in your pain. You wanted to clear your name, to set the record straight, to shout from the rooftops that you were not what they said. But you felt my hand, a gentle, firm restraint on your spirit, a whisper that said, "Be still, leave it to me." And in your greatest act of trust, you obeyed. You swallowed the bitter pill of injustice. You allowed your reputation to be tarnished. You let them misunderstand you. You chose silence over slander. You chose prayer over payback. You turned the other cheek not because you were weak, but because you were yielding to a strength far greater than your own. That silence, that refusal to enter the mud and wrestle on their terms, was not a loss. It was the most powerful declaration of faith you could have made. You were saying, I trust my God to be my defender more than I trust myself to be my own. And in that, you disarmed every spiritual weapon formed against you. You stepped out of the ring and left the fight to me. I have recorded it all. Every sideways glance, every whispered conversation, every hidden plot, every betrayal masked as concern. I have not missed a single thing. The ledger is not empty. The scales are not forgotten. I am a God of justice, and my justice is perfect. It is not always swift by your calendar, but it is always sure. The same people who counted you out, who spoke your name with pity or contempt, will be the very ones who witness your turning. They will see the doors I open for you. They will hear the music of your celebration. They will stand confounded as the narrative they crafted about your life shatters before their eyes. You will not need to say a word. Your sudden shift will be your testimony. Your elevation will be my rebuttal. Your vindication will be public, and it will be complete. They will know, without a shadow of a doubt, that the God you served in the shadows was with you all along. So release them. Release the hurt they caused. Release the need for them to understand or apologize. Their role in your story is over. They were pruning shears in my hand, though they knew it not. They cut away connections that would have ultimately poisoned your roots. They forced you to find your validation, your companionship, your identity solely in me. The loneliness they inflicted became the very soil where your deepest trust in me took root. You learned that even when every human voice is silent, my voice is enough. Even when every human hand lets go, my hand is holding you. You are now anchored in a way you never could have been if they had stayed. You were protected through their departure. What felt like rejection was actually a severe mercy. Now, look ahead. The season of silent opposition is closing. The stage where you were misjudged is being cleared. A new stage is being set, and the audience is different. The people I am bringing you will not need you to explain your past. They will see the strength it forged. They will recognize the anointing that only comes from being tried in the fire of misunderstanding. They will celebrate without jealousy and support without hidden agendas. The betrayals are over. The isolation has served its purpose. You have passed the test of loving those who hurt you by leaving them in my hands. And now, I am stepping in. The one who has been your silent witness is about to become your public defender. Rest in that. The battle was never yours to fight. You have asked me why more times than you can count. In the quiet, in the tears, in the raw moments of frustration, the question hung in the air between us. Why the delay? You watched others receive with ease what you fought for in prayer. You saw doors swing open for them while yours seemed not just closed, but sealed shut, as if by stone. You compared your timeline to the world's and felt left behind, as if you were running a race where everyone else had a map and you were walking blindfolded. That feeling of being perpetually last in line, of watching the seasons of blessing pass you by, it etched a deep confusion in your soul. You began to believe the delay was a measure of my love for you, or worse, the lack of it. Let me settle this now, forever. The delay was not distance. It was the deepest form of my protection. Think of the doors that closed so firmly, the ones you wept over, the opportunities you were sure were tailor-made for your destiny. I closed them. Not to taunt you, not to see you suffer, but because I could see the whole corridor, and you could only see the door. I saw what lay behind it, the compromise it would have required, the slow leak of your anointing it would have caused, the identity you would have had to sacrifice to keep it. It looked like light, but it led to a deeper darkness. It promised fulfillment, but would have delivered only emptiness wrapped in achievement. Your tears at that threshold were not in vain. They were the release of a dream that was good, but not best. They were the surrender of a good thing for the God thing. You felt rejected by the closed door. In truth, you were rescued by it. I was shielding the sacred call on your life from a path that would have derailed it entirely. You were being protected, not rejected. Remember that. And the people who left, the relationships that dissolved like mist in the morning sun. You counted those as losses, and in the human economy they were. You felt the sting of abandonment, the hollow ache of spaces once filled with laughter and conversation. You wondered what was wrong with you that so many could walk away. Nothing was wrong with you. Everything was right about the purpose I have for you. The assignment on your life requires a specific spiritual and emotional composition. It requires a heart that is completely leaning on me, free from the need for human approval, untangled from alliances that would cloud your discernment. The people who left could not go where you are going. Their presence, as comforting as it was, would have become a weight, a voice of doubt, a tether to a version of you that had to die in this waiting season. Their departure was not a tragedy. It was a necessary evacuation. I lovingly removed them because my plan for you is too intricate, too powerful, to be influenced by voices that do not carry my tone. The isolation was not punishment. It was the creation of a holy vacuum, a space cleared of every echo but mine, so you could learn the sound of my voice above all others. In that silence, in that empty space, something miraculous was happening. While you felt you were wasting away, you were being rebuilt. While you felt your strength was gone, a new kind of strength was being forged, one that does not come from applause, from companionship, from visible success. It is a strength that comes from simply knowing I am God. It is the unshakable fortitude of one who has had everything stripped away and found that I am enough. You were in the hidden preparation season. The world sees the public stage, the victory, the breakthrough. But I do my most vital work in the secret place, in the dark, in the quiet where no one is watching. A builder does not construct the scaffolding in front of the finished facade. He works on the foundation, the structure, the unseen beams that will bear the weight of the glory. You have been in the phase of unseen, essential building. Every lonely day was a beam placed. Every tear was mortar mixed. Every silent prayer was a steel cable anchored deep. You felt like a construction zone of chaos, but I was building a fortress of faith. The waiting season was your incubator. In nature, incubation requires a precise, unchanging environment. It requires stillness. It requires heat. It requires time, undisturbed. Any disruption, any premature opening ruins the process. You have been in a spiritual incubator. The heat of your trials, the stillness of your solitude, the undisturbed passage of time, all of it was to bring to life something that could not be birthed in the busyness of your old life. The new version of you, the one aligned with your true destiny, needed this protected environment to form. What you called stuck was actually sacred development. You were not idle. You were incubating. The very things you thought were hindering you, the limitations, the loneliness, the lack, were the precise conditions required for your transformation. So understand this now. The delays were divine detours. The closed doors were divine shields. The lost relationships were divine pruning. The isolation was divine focus. This was not a season of my neglect. It was a season of my intense, focused attention on the parts of you that needed to be strengthened, healed, and aligned for what is coming. You are not the same person who entered this waiting. The person who stepped into this season prayed for a change in circumstances. The person emerging from it has had their very character changed. And it is the character that can sustain the promise. The blessing you have prayed for would have destroyed the old you. It would have been too heavy for your former foundations. So I took the time, my time, to make you ready. The wait was not a line you stood in, it was a workshop. And now, the work is complete. The tools are being put away. The incubation period is over. The strength formed in isolation is now a quiet, unyielding power within you. You are ready not just to receive the promise, but to become it. The protection is lifting because what I was protecting you for is now at hand. Now listen, the tide is turning, not slowly, not gradually, but with the suddenness of a dawn that breaks after the deepest part of the night. One moment it is dark, the next, the light is everywhere, irreversible, painting everything in new color. This is your moment of shift. The long-held tension, the sustained note of waiting, is about to resolve into a chord so magnificent it will take your breath away. I am announcing the end of the standstill. I am initiating the sudden shift. The gears of heaven have been turning, interlocking in perfect sync, and now the mechanism is about to engage in the visible realm. What you could not see was the momentum building in the unseen. Now it will manifest where you can see it, touch it, walk in it. Get ready for the sudden opening. The door that will swing wide will be one you stopped knocking on long ago, one you even forgot was there. It will open not by your striving, but by my command. A phone call will come. An unexpected message will arrive. A chance meeting will feel like a divine appointment, because it is. Favor will find you in a place where you were accustomed to finding resistance. People who once overlooked you will look at you again, and this time they will not see the weary traveler. They will see the anointed vessel. They will sense the authority that your season of suffering has etched into your spirit. You will not need to introduce yourself. My favor will introduce you. You will not need to plead your case. My preparation will plead for you. The recognition will be public. It will happen in the view of those who doubted, in the arena where you were once counted out. This is the reversal of narratives. The story they told about you, the story of delay, of stagnation, of what could have been, is about to be rewritten before their eyes. The very areas where you felt most ashamed, most behind, most disqualified, will become the platforms for my greatest display. Where you were silent, you will speak with wisdom that surprises you. Where you were weak, you will stand with a strength that is clearly not your own. Where you were hidden, you will be brought forward, and the light will not feel harsh, but like a warm affirmation of a truth you held in the dark. They will look at you and say, "What happened to them?" And the answer will be simple. God happened. The same God they thought was absent was working all along. Your life will become the testimony that silences the critics, not by your argument, but by your elevation. I am turning the tables. I am orchestrating a divine reversal so complete it will feel like justice woven into the fabric of your daily life. The financial strain that weighed on you? Watch as provision comes from sources you never cultivated. The health that felt like a fading resource? Watch as strength returns, as vitality renews. The relationships that were fractured? Watch as I restore, not always the old ones, but with new connections that carry the fragrance of heaven. Connections that understand assignment and honor anointing. The dream that shriveled to a husk in your heart, I'm about to breathe upon it, and you will watch as it greens and flourishes, not as a fragile sapling, but as a rooted tree. The public vindication is not for your ego, it is for my glory. It is to demonstrate to a watching world and to the whispers in your own soul that I am a covenant-keeping God, that my word does not return to me void. The shift will be undeniable. It will have my fingerprints all over it. The timing will be impeccable. The connections will be supernatural. The ease will be startling. After so long striving, you will step into a season of divine alignment, where things simply flow. Doors will open in sequence. Resources will align. The right people will appear at the right time. You will move from pushing boulders uphill to riding a wave of my grace. This is the sudden shift. It is the Jubilee moment, where debts are canceled, inheritances are reclaimed, and freedom is declared. Do not be alarmed by the speed. After the long, slow wait, the acceleration may feel dizzying. You have learned to walk in the dark, step by cautious step. Now I am asking you to run in the light. Trust the foundation I built in you during the hidden years. It is solid enough to handle the velocity of this blessing. The confidence you are about to feel is not arrogance. It is the quiet assurance of one who knows their strength was forged in my presence, not in the applause of the crowd. The waiting has ended. The shifting has begun. This is the moment where the narrative breaks, where the trajectory of your life makes a sudden, glorious turn upward. Lift your head. The dawn you stopped believing would come is already here, painting the edges of your sky with gold. Your season of waiting is over. Your season of receiving has arrived. Now we enter the deep restoration. This is more than a sudden shift. This is the return of what was lost, the mending of what was torn, the filling of what was emptied. I am not just giving you a new chapter, I am restoring the years. The locusts of delay, of misunderstanding, of lack, they consumed much. But I am a God of restoration, and my restoration is not merely replacement, it is multiplication. I do not give back what was taken, I give back what should have grown in the time it was gone. The peace you thought you had lost forever, that quiet assurance you could barely remember, I am returning it to you, not as a fleeting feeling, but as an unshakable fortress within your soul. It will be a peace that makes no sense to the logical mind, a peace that stands guard over your heart and mind even when the winds howl, because you now know, in the marrow of your bones, that the one who commands the wind holds you. Watch as I restore your identity. The labels the world gave you, the forgotten one, the struggler, the one who waits, are being washed off in a tide of my truth. You will look in the mirror and see not the scars of battle first, but the light of victory in your eyes. You will recognize yourself again, not the weary version, but the true self I fashioned before the foundations of the world, the overcomer, the blessed, the called, the chosen, the one in whom I am well pleased. That sensitive heart they called too much will be revealed as your greatest strength, the capacity to feel my heart, to carry compassion, to heal others with the empathy you learned in the valley. What they dismissed, I am now anointing as your primary tool. Your identity is no longer tied to your season of struggle. It is now rooted in your season of abundance in me. The abundance I bring will overflow. It is not meant to be hoarded in the silos of your own heart. It will spill from your life onto the lives of others. The blessings are not a private reservoir, they are a river. You will find yourself in a position to give, to support, to open doors for others who are now where you once stood. The testimony of your weight will become a lifeline you throw to others in theirs. You will speak, and your words will carry the weight of experience and the warmth of true understanding. You will not say, I heard this might work. You will say, I was there, and this is how my God delivered me. And that authority, the authority of the one who has come through the fire, will break chains off of other lives. Your healing will become a sanctuary for the wounded. Your provision will become seed for the sown. Your peace will become a resting place for the weary. This is the purpose of the overflow, to prove that your journey was never just about you. It was about the multitude I would touch through your story of restoration. This new identity carries a new authority. You will not have to demand respect or fight for your seat at the table. A quiet authority will emanate from you, the authority of one who has been tested and approved. Decisions will come to you for confirmation. People will seek your counsel, not just for your wisdom, but because they will sense the stability, the yes and no that comes from a spirit at rest in me. The confusion that once clouded your mind is being replaced by a clarity that sees through the noise to the heart of matters. You will know things you were not taught, understand paths you have not walked, because my spirit within you will be your guide in ways you could not access before the refining. The waiting season stripped away your dependence on your own understanding. Now you will operate from a place of divine knowing. And with this comes a confidence that is not your own. It is the confidence of Joshua standing before a promised land, not because he felt brave, but because he had spent decades in the presence of the one who promised. It is the quiet confidence of knowing the battle is not yours. You will walk into rooms you once felt unworthy to enter and feel a profound sense of belonging, not because the room changed, but because you have. You are carrying my presence. The insecurity that whispered of your lack is being silenced by the roar of my affirmation within you. You will try new things. You will dream bigger dreams. You will love with a riskier love, because the fear of loss has been swallowed up by the certainty of my restoration. You are not merely recovering from a hard season. You are being upgraded for a glorious one. This is the restoration of all things, your joy, your strength, your hope, your name, your purpose. It is being woven back together with threads of gold, the very trials you endured now becoming the beautiful, intricate highlights of the tapestry. The pain had a purpose. The silence had a plan. The loss had a gain. You are stepping into a place of such settled wholeness that the enemy's voice will sound like a faint, irrelevant echo from a distant past. You are entering your promised peace. The war is over. The season of striving is complete. Now begins the season of dwelling in my abundance, dwelling in your true identity, dwelling in the overwhelming, overflowing peace that is your eternal inheritance. This is the final confirmation, the seal upon the promise, the whisper that turns the page. You have listened through the pain, through the memories of betrayal, through the explanation of the delay, through the announcement of the shift and the vision of restoration. Now let these words settle into the deepest part of you, the part beyond emotion, beyond circumstance, into the bedrock of your spirit. Let them become the unshakable truth you stand upon. The waiting season is over, not because the circumstances have all changed yet, but because I, the author of time, the finisher of faith, have declared it. My word is the final authority. If I have said it, it is already done in the heavenly realms. What you see with your eyes will now begin to align with what I have spoken over your destiny. This is your moment to trust, not in the outcome, but in the speaker. Trust me fully. From this day forward, walk with a new certainty. Not a certainty born of pride, but a humility that comes from knowing you are fully carried, fully guided, fully loved. When a shadow of the old doubt tries to cross your mind, the memory of the long silence, the echo of a hurtful word, you will not fight it with anxiety. You will simply hold up the promise I have given you here, like a shield. It is finished. The work of the waiting is complete. The purpose has been served. You are released from the cycle of longing and into the reality of possessing. Do not look back at the empty tomb of your former season with mourning. I am doing a new thing. Can you not perceive it? It springs forth now. I am making a way in what feels like the final stretch of wilderness, and rivers of refreshment in the place of deepest thirst. I am with you. This is the anchor for all that comes next. The sudden opportunities, the public vindication, the overflowing abundance, they are not signs that I have come back to you. They are evidence that I never left. I was with you in the cell of waiting. I am with you in the palace of promise. My presence is your constant. It is the thread that stitches your entire story together, from the darkest valley to the brightest peak. You will never face a moment alone again. You will never pray into a void again. You will speak, and you will know I am listening. You will step out, and you will feel my hand guiding. The isolation is forever broken. You have graduated from the school of learning I am with you to the life of knowing I am with you. This intimacy is the greatest treasure of the entire journey. It is the prize that makes every tear worthwhile. So go now. Go into your new day. Hold your head high, not with arrogance, but with the quiet dignity of a child of the King who knows their inheritance. Speak with grace, move with purpose, love with abandon. The defensive posture you carried for so long, the hunched shoulders waiting for the next blow, can be released. Stand tall. You are not a target anymore. You are a testimony. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a vessel of glory. The protection that once came through closed doors and isolation now flows from my open heaven over your life. Walk in that covering. Breathe in that freedom. Your destiny is not a distant point on a map. It is a person. It is me living through you. The dreams I placed in your heart were always seeds of my will for you. Now, watch them grow. Tend to them without the old fear of drought. The harvest is assured. Your time of seeing the promise from afar is over. Your time of inhabiting it has begun. You were faithful with little. Now I am entrusting you with much. You were faithful in the prison. Now I am giving you the palace. Not because you earned it, but because my nature is to bless, to redeem, to restore, and to love beyond measure. This is the end of the letter, but it is the beginning of the story. The story of the one who waited, and in the waiting was remade. The story of the one who was silenced, only to later speak with undeniable authority. The story of the one who was hidden, only to be revealed as a masterpiece all along. Let this script fade from your mind, but let its truth be written on your heart. Replay it not as a wish, but as a declaration. Cry to it not in desperation, but in relief. Share it not as a hope, but as a testimony of what your God has already done. For I am the Lord your God. I go before you. I am your rear guard. I am the light upon your path. The waiting has ended. The promise is now. Rise and step into your day. It is time. Amen.